Am I overreacting for not wanting Mill to be in my baby's life? I and my husband have been together for 4 years, married for 1, and we are currently expecting. We've had losses in the past which makes this pregnancy that much more precious to us. A little background, we met at a convention when we were younger but lived in different states, so we would only see each other for a week out of the year. When COVID hit, we made the tough decision for him to spend a few months here in my state and then we would alternate. Pam has been abusive to his father and verbally abusive to his little sister. As soon as DH touched down, she started blowing up his phone, saying he shouldn't have left, he doesn't know me, etc. I thought it was because she just didn't know me well enough yet, but I was wrong. When we told Pam we were pregnant with our first angel baby, she was upset because she didn't think he should have a baby just yet and that he would regret it being with me. Sadly, we lost that baby, and when he told her, she laughed and said, "Thank God." He attempted to confront her, but she told him if he would have worn a condom, he wouldn't be sad now. WTF. Fast forward a year, Corey proposes to me, we are excited, and of course, he wants to invite his mother. Her response? She will come if she's not dead. We ultimately ended up getting married without her being there, and the day was amazing without her. Over the years, I've tried talking to her, we work the same job, in the same field and have a lot in common, but she just refuses to talk, or spend time with me because she doesn't know me. She has added his exes on social media, talk to them, talk to him about them. Pam will ask Corey why he won't reach out to his exes because they were right for him and I'm not. The last straw was when she called me and yelled at me for over an hour, talking about me, talking about my parents and how I was raised, and saying that I am basically taking advantage of DH and derailing his life. Luckily, I recorded the entire call and played it for my husband when he returned from work. It took several conversations and marriage counseling for us to come up with the solution that we will go no contact, and we did, for a month. We had a month full of bliss before Corey broke down and told me that he misses her, and that Pam misses him, and he wants to start up communication again. I told Corey that if he thinks that Pam has changed and she's willing to change her behavior, then we can talk about starting contact again. This was a few days after we found out that I was 10 weeks pregnant, so my emotions were at an all-time high. He calls her, apologizes for going no contact with her, and for an hour and a half, they talk and catch up. Not once did he bring up her behavior, her treatment of me, nothing. After Corey got off the phone with her, I asked him whether or not he believes that she has changed and can be trusted based off what she said, and that's when he realized that throughout their entire conversation, he didn't talk about the no contact nor about me. I just told me that the next time he talks to her, mention it so we know where we stand, but I made it strictly clear that my mind hadn't changed, she would never be around our child, which Corey was okay with. When we were pregnant before, I asked Corey if he wanted to let his parents know prior to us posting about it on social media, and he got annoyed and called his mother saying, "She wants me to let you know that we're having a baby." He did it at my brother's graduation, and it just left a sour taste in my mouth for the rest of the night. Corey told Pam that we were pregnant again and that so far everything was fine. He mentioned to her about coming to our state for gender reveal and baby shower, but she said that she didn't have the money for it, so we offered to foot the bill, and she still said no. He was frustrated but said okay, and that just his dad and his sister could come, but she's refusing to let his sister come with her father to come see us, and now his sister is very upset. Corey came to me and asked if I could let my grudge go, allow Pamela to see the baby when it's born, and that's it, not fair that my mom will be able to see and hold the baby whenever, but Pamela cannot. I told him that it's not fair for Pamela to not like me without reason but want full access to our child. I told him that my answer was still no and that I wouldn't be changing my mind no matter what. It started another argument, and now we aren't talking, but he's been talking to his mom more than before. I don't believe I'm ta, but I had to ask. AITA. Comment. Girl, you have a Corey problem and a Mill problem. That sucks. But he's not a good partner who will have your back. My sister said some super awful things to my wife before we got married. Guess what? Once my wife finally told me about it, I burned all bridges that remained with my sister. We are strictly no contact. If my mother dared say even one mean thing to or about my wife, that would be it, no contact. When it comes to the way my mom talks to me, my wife and I have a safe word. If my mom is getting out of line, oh, say the word and my wife will kick her out. These are the actions of a real partner. You deserve someone who will put you and your valid feelings first. I think you need to really consider if this marriage is worth saving. No, you're not. Sounds like a yucky situation. BC, your hubby is regressing. Some men regress when a baby comes along. I'd suggest counseling now. BC, if not, this will become a contentious issue which will result in a miserable marriage or divorce. I'd also try connecting with hubby through dates or sports events. You want him to see you guys as an us. You stand your ground. BC, that woman is blatantly abusive and toxic. I'm so sorry you have to go through this, especially in such a fragile time. Many hugs to you, mama. Play that phone call back for him and ask how that's a grudge. Ask him why he thinks that his mother should have access to the baby she didn't want him to have with her. Ask him why he feels it's a grudge when she laughed and thanked God when you miscarried. Why are you the one that's wrong in his eyes when you've actually tried to reach out and facilitate a relationship? Why does he want his mother to have a relationship with a baby whose mother she clearly does not like? Stop approaching the conversation as though you're talking about his mom. Why should I let someone who treats me badly around my child? Why should I let someone who openly doesn't want us to have kids together around a child they don't want to exist? Don't let him go, oh, but she's the granny or she's my mom. He can go visit her on his lonesome, but he will do so alone. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry, he's a man-child. No grown adult should be missing their mommy terribly after a month. How did he even know she missed him if he was NC? None of this is normal. Look, my Mill is no saint, but she knows there are consequences from her son when she goes after me. Last time she did it, we packed up and left immediately with all the kids and drove the 300 miles home. I didn't ask him to do it, I didn't even suggest we leave. He's a grown-ass man and he knows right from wrong. That said, it was a pretty shitty comment which was nowhere on the level of what you're dealing with. You can't win this with them, you can only choose what you are willing to live with. I'd let him do a visit, after the first trimester, with the caveat that you're only giving her one chance to treat you with respect, and if she doesn't, you're going to need to decide what will be best for you and the baby going forward. Then when, she is an awful, you have to follow through. Go stay somewhere safe or have him go home to his mommy. Definitely get into therapy ASAP. Next story 2. How do I help so feel better about setting boundaries? We are LC with Jane Mill. She's always been disrespectful and rude to me, and things escalated recently because 1. We moved next door to my parents, and 2. My so went NC with his brother. Long story short, Bill and so got into an argument. Bill said he wanted nothing to do with so and some extremely hurtful things, so held him to it. Mill cannot grasp this turn of events and is constantly texting so things like, I cry myself to sleep every night because of this rift in my family, just forgive each other already, I can't believe you've replaced us with her family like she's always wanted, etc. So has a great relationship with his other siblings and we see them. They all have strained relationships with Bill, but he's the oldest/favorite child, so nothing is never his fault. I've already blocked Jane Mill on social platforms because she would leave hysterical voicemails to so every time I was tagged in or shared a photo of my kids with my friends and family. We've recently drawn the boundary that we won't respond to any negativity about the family situation or our home's location, and we won't spend time with her if these things are discussed, which means we haven't seen her in a few months. This has honestly been great for me. I no longer have to worry about her sneaking treats to my infants or telling my kids it's okay to play in the alligator-infested pond on our property, but my so is really struggling with guilt and anxiety. He brings it up daily and constantly wonders aloud if he's doing the right thing. I keep telling him that she's making the choices that are separating her from us, but he still feels guilty about it. How do I help him understand that boundaries are healthy for their relationship? Comment. Remind your so that it's her choice to be NC, not yours. When or if she can be respectful to him, hold his Bill accountable, and stop endangering her own grandkids, then she can come back. Neither you nor him have any control over her actions, and it's her choice to continue acting in a way that makes it impossible to be around her. Would he read a book about dealing with the guilt and other feelings? There are some really good ones out there. Running on Empty is one, and I think there is a list on the sidebar. I would go with the respect angle. He made a conscious choice to no longer have a relationship with his brother. It was for a real reason, and he made a boundary, one that is respected by his other siblings. His mother is making a conscious decision to not respect that her son is an adult who can choose who he wishes to associate with. You can also use the safety of your children. His mother has made decisions to go against your parenting in ways that could cause her grandchildren great harm. Who the hell thinks it's okay to allow children near a pond that has crocs in it? Next story 3. I feel like my Mill just visits to use our printer. My husband and I, both 23, literally just came back from our honeymoon trip to the Caribbean and we were really looking forward to coming home and resting after our flights. As soon as we land, DH receives a text from his mom asking if she, and her daughter, could come see us a few hours after we would arrive home. I told DH I'm not sure we're ready for visitors yet, and he tells Mill that we'll see how we feel about visitors later cause we have a lot to do. Once we get home we pretty much immediately fall asleep and nap for a couple hours. Once DH wakes up he realizes that he never got back to Mill and Sil about whether they could come visit. He feels bad because he assumes they just really want to see us. He tells them they can come if they still want to. They arrive and bring some pizza, which was nice. Mill then asks how our trip was, and as we are talking about it she interrupts to ask if it is okay if Sil, who is already pulling books out of a backpack, uses our printer to make copies while she's here. We say sure, that's fine, and help them get set up, and they spend about an hour using our printer while half listening to us talk about the honeymoon, and half interrupting us to talk to each other about the homework assignment that Sil is copying on our printer. Soon after they're done printing they leave, and I just feel like they just came to use the printer. Thinking back on it, there has only been 1 or 2 times that Mill has came to see us without using our printer, and we have lived here for 4 years. We got the printer a couple years ago and every time she needs to print something she visits. It's not that often, and she doesn't always seem to hide the reason, but it's so weird. Our printer was like $40 from Walmart BTW. Nothing fancy. She also has the means to buy a printer. Am I the weird one here? Comment. I agree, LOL. I would go to my brother's house for a lot of things when I was a teen and young adult, printing included. I definitely didn't bring pizza every time, but he was happy to help me out and hang out for a bit. Probably the dishonesty about their intentions. Making it seem like they wanted to visit when actually they wanted to use Op and their husband for their printer. Trying to invade Op's space the minute she gets home from tiring travel for selfish reasons. Just a guess. This seems interpreted wrong. If the printer is only $40, then to me it seems like they want to visit and use the printer, but it's also about the visit because they could easily buy a printer instead of bringing pizza over and going out of their way to print something. Next time Mill wants to come visit, perhaps advise her that the printer is out of ink and or no longer working and see if she still wants to come. Perhaps even get Sil one for Christmas that she can use with her laptop and then Mill can pay for the ink. I think they are at least respectful for asking to come over and not coming until you okay it. The printer thing is weird, but definitely not worth being mad about. I love the idea of getting a printer for Sil, but I wouldn't be passive aggressive about it, nor would I be out of ink when they visit.